Beautiful family. It's been a while. I looked at the last time that I was able to do a reading with you guys, and it's been a couple of weeks. And I told you guys that I had to go away for a bit, that I had to run a special mission. And we are towards the end of this special mission, and I believe without a shadow of a doubt that we will have the greatest Spanish Bible translation that has ever been produced. And it is almost ready. All the translation parts are all completely done. It's into our coder's hand. I've seen a 7/8 of the way project that is done. I finished up a couple of other translations this morning for him, like the home button and search and night mode and things like that. And it has been an incredible experience. Every time that we are able to touch the word of the Most High, I feel very unworthy. I feel like I can't believe a scrub like myself and my family are able to get our grubby hands on this and to be able to do the work of our Creator. And we are going headstrong into the next language, and my head starts spinning. And since my head starts spinning, and it's not simply because I'm on to day 2 of a fast, but that does have something to do with it. And I do want to talk a little bit about fasting here. But my head is spinning because I am about halfway through the scriptures again for Hindi. For Hindu, that's right. We are sitting here working through this, and we are using the greatest technologies that we have right now to be able to put out a great version. And it is one of these things that Hindu, the 3 biggest languages that are in the world is English, Mandarin, Hindu, Spanish. Then we have like somewhere down the line German and French. And I thought Hindu was going to be much easier than it is. But it's much, much harder because where Spanish was actually letters of the alphabet that we actually could do and we knew, it doesn't work like that with Hindi. It is completely weird, and I've been taking a couple of Hindu courses online just to get through some of the basics. And there's some funky looking characters when it comes to Hindi. Like there's literally an all-seeing eye for one of their words, and I just, as you look into the culture of those who speak Hindi, the Indians and those in that region, it's very, very clear that they are they're not the same. They worship many, many gods, right? There's many, many, many different gods. And for those of us who are Torah keepers, we know that our Elohim is one. We know that one creator created all of this. We know our one creator had a magnificent, beautiful son. And we know their names. We know the actual Hebrew names. And this is what we have been able to leave in the Spanish version, is the name of our creator, Yahuwah, and his son, Yahushua. Some say Yeshua, some say different variations of it, but it's all very, very close to the same. But it's Paleo-Hebrew. And so that is the difference, is that we actually have the restored name of our creator and his son in these versions. And guys, the Yah Scriptures has been an incredible, it's just been incredible. It has been so incredible to be a part of this, to be able to release all these apps across the Apple Store. There's a lot of you guys out there that allowed us to get the Apple version of this out. I didn't know if we were going to be able to do it, but there were some heavy hitters out there that I pray for daily that went and donated a lot to be able to get this out. And now there's hundreds of downloads. There's thousands of downloads of the Google version. We just barely got the Apple version out. There's already hundreds of it out there. People love it. And for you guys that are out there, there's a brand new version of it that will be on the market tomorrow or the next day. Make sure you update this, because there was a couple bugs in our last one that when you delete one bookmark, it deleted them all, and the copy and paste was a little broken. And so we got that all resolved. Our coder got this up in both the versions, and we are so close to getting the Spanish version out, and it's just really exciting. Now let's talk a little bit about fasting, because I don't think there's enough of us that sit and talk about fasting, and it's something that because of my health that I have been into and my reluctance to take big pharma and to just inject myself or to take these pills for diabetes or anything, considering I was the one-way trip that made my body, my temple, a destruction zone in of itself by my eating habits, I want to fix this myself. And one of the ways that I have been doing this is by fasting. And there is a tremendous amount of incredible effects with fasting, guys. Blood pressure, blood sugar, problems with the heart, problems with the brain, problems with gastrointestinal problems. All of this stuff are able to be fixed when you start fasting. And this round, I'm trying to go a long time. I am going to be going minimum 12 days, and I'm hoping to go longer than that. I really am. And there's a couple of tips and tricks that I would like to present all of you guys with as not a professional faster, but an experienced faster when it comes to this. And one of the things that when you just do a water fast, we get an electrolyte imbalance. And so to prevent things with like cramps and various issues like this, and one of the reasons that we get cramps and one of the reasons that some of us will, almost pass out is because when we are not eating, our veins are not pumping the kind of blood that normally are pumped through it. And so I have a little jar of rock salt, and it's I think it's Himalayan or something of the sort, one of the better ones that is not all jacked up with all the bad stuff in it. And I'm ingesting a lot of salt. And I'm only on day 2 right now. And the first 5 days are brutal, first 5 or 6 days, because hunger is an actual drug that is being released into our system. When our body thinks that it needs some food, it will drug us, and it will make us think that we need some food. And so once we get past day 6 or 7, things get a lot easier. And this is where I am trying to get to right now, because I struggle with day 4 and 5, especially at nights. I get the shakes a lot. I feel like I'm having an alcoholic detox of some kind. And it's hard to sleep. It really is hard to sleep. And I will oftentimes sit and pray as I am, my tummy's grumbling, and I'm trying to seek our Creator. And we know from our Melchizedek priest, we know from our Messiah, Yahushua, that he was big into fasting, right? He was able to fast 40 days. And it's something that all of the guys like John the Baptist, John the Immerser, Yochanan, he was all into fasting. And it's not just straight up spiritual. It's not just straight up torture. It is something that is extremely healthy for all of us. And so if you guys have chronic illnesses and chronic diseases and issues with it, I would strongly suggest that you begin the life of fasting. And as we are fasting, as we are taking our temples and trying to rebuild the temples and the damage that a lot of our environment has done to our temples, it's something that we are, it's good. It's a really, really good thing. Now, it doesn't feel good. And it's, I always have this it just feels like a headache, and it's not a heavy headache, but it's just like my head hurts. And, I'm hoping after day 4 or day 5, this goes away. I don't know. It's a thing. You gotta be tough to do it. And for those who've never fasted, I would definitely try to begin. What the real doctors out there nowadays are saying is that, really we should only eat for 6 hours of the day, and the rest of it should be fasting. A lot of people have changed their lives, dropped tremendous amount of weight, and they feel a lot better. And, you can start with a daily fasting. It's called an OMAD, 1 meal a day fast. Essentially, you just eat between those times, and that way we're not out grazing on food all day long, which is, it's not something that's good for us. We're built in a certain way. And what's fascinating as I learn more and more about fasting, as I look into the true medical professional people that are that are talking about this and encouraging people to do it, the way they talk about our bodies and how they function and the things they do, one of the big myths is that you lose muscle, and that's actually not true at all. In fact, for all of us that are aging, that are up in the age, various things, there are growth hormones that are released after 2 days of fasting, serious growth hormones. And you get stronger, you get more fit, your brain fog will disappear, although it doesn't feel like it sometimes, right? But it's a healthy thing. Our bodies completely change based upon all of this. And as these doctors explain this stuff, I think of the big doctor, Yahuwah. I think of our creator and his incredible design of the human body. And, we can look and see things like breathing and hearing and speech and all of this, touch and all the abilities that we have. And then we have the internal side that just functions like a clock. It's something that nobody would ever be able to design better than our creator. And there's no greater honor than to be part of this testing period. And the testing period that all of us have is this life. We have been given a time on this earth that our creator has pulled us, looked at our souls, looked at us, designed us, developed us, and then tossed us into our mother's womb, gave us nutrients, gave us life, gave us the ability to walk. And it's not just to live this life. It's not just to have your best life now. It's not just to create all this money and have all this money and this success and be able to do all this. In fact, it's very clear in scriptures that it's very hard for rich men to enter into the kingdom of our creator. And when you look at just the example of the Hallelujah scriptures and the expose that we have been doing on them, these people are complete criminals. They have millions of dollars and they can never get enough. Every week or two, they're sending out all these newsletters and all asking for more money, and they're running all these grifts. And we talked to another gal who was a part of the Hallelujah scriptures, and her job was to make up fake newsletters. That was literally her job, and she only did it a couple times, and she was very upset about the whole thing. And when she asked Dirty Deb, the founder, the owner of this thing, like, what about pictures for this? She's like, oh, we'll just toss in pictures. So now we know that nearly everything they do is completely fake, phony, and false. I have more material and more bank statements and more garbage from this company that I don't know if I'll ever be able to do anything about it with. But it's the examples of what happens when we start taking money over our creator. We start doing evil things. And on the Hallelujah Scripture site, they have a vow. They said they had a vow to Yahuwah that they would never use any of this money for their own personal lives and expenses. But there is a grip of them, a whole handful of them, that for years and decades they have made themselves filthy rich, bought their cars and bikes and scooters and meds and groceries and houses. There's houses all over in between New Zealand and the States and Australia and the Philippines. There's just, they tap danced on the backs of Torah keepers. And the thing about Torah keepers are, we want to trust people. We know what our Messiah says. We know what our Creator says. We know we're supposed to love our neighbor. So it's hard for us to fathom that there's a group of people that have hoarded the word of our Creator for so long that nobody had access to it. And then I came along. And I got busted up by the Hallelujah Scriptures. They came and tried to beat the snot out of me. They tried to send the law after me. They tried to send all of these little agencies. They tried to get all of my YouTube channels banned. And then I investigated into it and I found out they're a 100% criminal organization. So guys, let's not let money take over our souls. Let's not be the remnant that is greedy. What we need and what we have to understand is that there's a way to the kingdom. The way to the kingdom is being obedient to the first 5 books of scriptures: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Those first 5 books are the foundational basis for everything that we have in life. And then we've been gifted with the prophets. We've been gifted with the Psalms. We've been gifted with all of these. And then we have the Besorah. We have the good news of our Messiah. And our Messiah came, and he did not come to destroy the law or the prophets, any of it. He came to walk them and show us that, yes, we as human beings in the flesh can indeed walk this Torah to the very best of our abilities. Does it mean that we won't sin? No. Does it mean that we will not fall? No. But what it means is that we understand what iniquity is. We understand what sin is. We understand what makes our Creator angry. And so we align our lives under the laws of the Torah, because that is the government laws that we are going to be up if we make it to the kingdom to come, right? It's always an if, right? I never feel comfortable in my salvation. I never feel comfortable in my walk. It's a path and a road that, I've talked a lot about it. We live out in the middle of the jungles. It's a woolly, wild jungles. We live with 9 pit bulls. Things get wild. My kids get wild. We all get wild. And we're always reminding each other that the walk of our Messiah is a humble walk. It's a clean heart, a clean mouth. What we say absolutely will be replayed to us in the kingdom to come. It will be part of our judgment. And we need to make sure that we're not sitting there in embarrassment, that we align our lives and we align our personalities to be kingdom warriors, to be those who will walk with our Creator, who will walk with His Son, and that are worthy of this walk. And it's not easy. A lot of us, we've grown up in Babylon. We've grown up with nasty movies and horrible music and evil that's all around us. And a lot of us are coming out of this and coming into Torah. And this is what it means, right? When you see the walk of our Messiah and the people that came, we had Mary Magdalene, right? She was a whore. She had demons. She was a very what you would call a massive sinner, right? Did Messiah reject her? Nope. Did she become a great walking apostle with our Creator's Son? Yeah, she was definitely a part of the entire walk with Him. And so these are the kind of people that are not rejected. We can cling up our ways. We can figure this out. And it is with that, guys, I would like to introduce you into this next reading that we are going to do, which is the book of Enoch. And for those that just finished the second Esdras with us, it was an amazing read, right? Before this, guys, this is a big blue book, limited edition. This is Yah Scriptures. It is the greatest English translation that has ever been. It has it's a matrix combo of the ISR and the Hallelujah Scriptures, but it has about 2,000 errors that have been fixed. And inside of this, guys, you have the name of our Messiah. You also have the name of our Creator. And guys, this book is 7 pounds. This is a sword. This is literally armor. And when you guys start reading this, when you start loving it, it becomes a part of you. It's the Hallelujah Scripture sells their grifted version for like $450. You can't get this exact version because we have a lot more Apocrypha in this as well. They will never ever have. And so you guys get 103 books. This is large print. This was built because I had vision problems and because I was trying to actually build the scriptures for myself because there was nothing out here. And so this first version that we have is built for all of us that want to read a lot, that we don't want our eyes weeping and crying because we can't see or the letters are too small. This is why it's 7 pounds. We found a case for this thing. I think it's like $12. It's amazing. It fits perfectly. It's super cheap. I'm having Nicole pop this up there somewhere. I can't remember, somewhere on Amazon, but we got the perfect book for this, a carrying case. And so, guys, with this, let us get into our reading as of today. Now, this is the free Yah Scriptures app. And the free Yah Scriptures app, this is not the updated version. So this is the version that has a couple of bugs. And let me show you a quick bug, right? So we're going right here. I'm going to bookmark this. I'm going to bookmark this. I'm going to bookmark number 2. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to bookmark this. Okay. Now, when I go back to the bookmarks, I should have 2 right here, right? If I want to delete, say 1. This might actually be, this might have taken the update. Actually, I think Nicole did this one. I think she actually updated this yesterday. So hold on. Let me see if this works. copy. I don't know if this actually worked or not. Let me see here. No, this is the old version. But sometimes it did it and sometimes not. So the old version has those bugs. But in the next day or so, guys, update that so all of this will work. The cool thing about this, hold on. The cool thing about this is that the Spanish version looks exactly like this. The Apple version looks exactly like this. All of this stuff. And the next version that you guys get will actually have some of these Torah commands or some funky letters in here that didn't come out. That will be fixed, as well as the copy and paste, which is fixed. So let's get into this. Free of charge, given to us by the hand of our Creator, who loves all of you guys. He loves all of us and he wants to invite us all into the kingdom for those who are willing to be obedient. So these are all 103 books. Now, this is the book of Enoch. Chapter 1, look at this one. Guys, we're going to be at this a long time because we're going to do a deep dive. Now, I don't know how long we're actually going to run on this. I've already talked your ear off 21 minutes. Let's begin. Enoch, Canuck. The words of the Baraka, the blessing of Canuck, with which he blessed the elect and righteous who will be living in the day of tribulation, when all the wicked and unrighteous are to be removed. Right out of the gate, right? This is to us, right? This could very well be our generation. We don't know when the end will come. We don't know when the kingdom is going to be here. Messiah himself says he didn't even know when he's going to make it happen, but his Father does. And so this is very much a current letter to you, to me, to our families, which is the same as Torah, right? Torah is for all generations, all peoples, all creeds, all genders, all families, it doesn't matter if you're a woman, it doesn't matter if you're a man, it doesn't matter if you're a child. The Torah is for all of us. It's literally the litmus test of greatness is when you are able to walk inside of the Torah. It's a beautiful thing. And again, for those who don't know the Torah, if this is the first introduction that you guys have ever had to Torah, Torah is, again, the first 5 books of Scriptures. There's only about 160-ish commands that we can keep today in this day and age, and they are things that will keep you alive. 2, and he took up this parable and said, Canuck, a righteous man, whose eyes were opened by Elohim, saw the vision of the Kodosh One in the Shamaim, which the messengers showed me. And from them I heard all matters, and from them I understood as I saw. But not for this generation, but for a distant one which is to come. Now, for those who again have not been introduced, Shamaim is heaven, right? Enoch is actually not. It's Canuck, and the H with the little period underneath it is a k sound. And so what Enoch Canuck is seeing is amazing stuff, right? It's stuff that had he not written this down, we would not know a tremendous amount. Now, some things in Enoch are all over the place because this book was recompiled from fragments. And there's a lot of the books of Enoch that are out of place or out of order. You'll see this, and as we go through this and deep dive into this book, you'll see a little bit what I mean. But the first little bit is pretty much in order. 3, concerning the elect, I said, and took up my parable concerning them. The Kadosh Great One will come forth from his dwelling, and the eternal Elohim will tread upon the earth on Mount Sinai and appear from his camp and appear in the strength of his might from the Shamaim of Shamaim. Okay, there's a thing here, right? The Kadosh Great One will come forth from his dwelling and the eternal Elohim. So the Kadosh Great One, the blessed Great One, is our Messiah, right? We have Messiah Yahushua, who is he's what you would call a Melchizedek priest. He is the greatest priest that we have ever known. Not only was he a priest, but he was our sacrifice. He was the one who came on the words of his Father, walked the words of his Father perfectly, and became our example of what the kingdom needs to be about. It's how we align our lives based upon our Messiah. Now, this is something big, right? Right out of the gate, this is a rapture-killing book, right? Mount Sinai, when it's talking about Mount Sinai, we're talking about the New Jerusalem. We're talking about a ginormous city that's supernaturally going to be pulling out the New Jerusalem, and it's going to be where we are called to, right? We're not called to the bottoms of the lands. We're called to the city of Elohim, to the big new Jerusalem. So right here, we hear that our Messiah is going to be coming forth out of his dwelling, and he's also going to be Messiah and his dad. He's going to walk with us, which is one of these things why the appointed times of our Creator, the Shabbats, all of our days of that we've been called as Yah's people to celebrate, to keep, these are all going to be happening in New Jerusalem, on the top of Mount Sinai. This is going to be a great thing. And we know from the Apocrypha and the extra books that Shabbats have been kept in the Shamayim. This is not something new. The laws of our Creator are something that is not just built for us in this world. They were long before creation was ever created for us, that we know that it was there. And so when we talk about our Messiah, when he says he was before Abraham, people can't quite grasp that. And he goes, when he says I am, everybody's like, well, that means he's Yahuwah, he's God. And that's not true, right? Because he was before Abraham. He was before creation, right? Abraham came when we have an account of him. But Messiah Yahushua was probably with his dad for what we would know as of possibly billions of years. He probably grew up with his dad. He probably had the Torah. He knew how his dad wanted for us to act, for him to act. I mean, he was a representative of his dad's ways. And so the Torah is just a beautiful thing. 5. And all shall be smitten with fear, and the watchers shall quake, and great fear and trembling shall seize them unto the ends of the earth. So for those who don't know the watchers are the fallen angels. Those are the ones who were supposed to literally be watching the human race, documenting things, doing not evil. Well, we'll get into this, but they did great evil, right? They started mingling with the people in a way that they should have never, ever mingled. Excuse me. 6, and the high mountains shall be shaken, and the high hills shall be made low, and shall melt like wax before the flame. Now, we've heard this. We've heard this in Isaiah. We've heard this in the prophets where they talk about the mountains being shaken, the high hills being made low, right? And the earth shall be completely torn in pieces, and all that is upon the earth shall perish, and there shall be a judgment upon all. But with the righteous he will make peace, and will protect the elect, and compassion shall be upon them. And they shall all belong to Elohim, and they shall be prospered, and they shall all be blessed, Baruch. And he will help them all, and light shall appear unto them, and he will make peace with them. And see, he comes with 10,000s of his Kodeshim, to execute judgment upon all, and to destroy all the wicked, and to convict all flesh of the works of their wickedness, which they have committed wickedly, and of the harsh matters which wicked sinners have spoken against him. Now, we want to go into Enoch because Second Esdras reiterated a lot of what we will be seeing. In fact, Second Esdras gives us a little bit more of an understanding of what's going to happen from the moment you die to the moment of classification, to all of this, and also Messiah Yahushua. When those who call him Jesus, when he comes back, he's going to be coming as a war general. He's going to be coming as the army that doesn't need legions to do anything, because he has the power of the elements. He has the power of all of this creation at his hands, and he will be able to maneuver and to destroy all these big bombs and tanks and metal and all this war industrial complex that goes all around us. It's going to be nothing for him, right? These guys, the whole world is going to be warring. They're going to stop, and they're going to come at him, and he's going to smote them. It's not even going to be a fair fight. Let's go into 2. Observe all matters that take place in the Shamayim, how they do not change their orbits, and the lights which are in the Shamayim, how they all rise and put in order each in its season, and do not transgress against their appointed order. See the earth, and give heed to that which takes place upon it from first to last, how steadfast they are, how none of that on earth changes, but all the works of Elohim appear to you. See the summer and the winter, how the whole earth is filled with water, and clouds and dew and rain lie upon it. Now, this may not seem like a big chapter. It may not seem like a tremendous amount, But, we've been sold this lie. And in Hebrew, NASA means deceiver, deception. And we have been told that we are spinning like 500 miles an hour one way. We're blowing around the sun 1,000 miles the other way, right? We're just tilting, wobbling, going to and fro. And it is just, we're moving around, right? But yet you see the stars in the skies and they never change their position. They never change their orbit, right? We have what we call wandering stars. And up until recently, we never had the P9000 camera. And they actually took that off the market because people were figuring life out. And they were able to put it into a telescope and you can actually see the night light, which is the moon. And it's simply that. It's a light. And we're also able to zoom in on these wandering stars. And these little twinkly stars, twinkle, twinkle, little star. We don't need to wonder what you are, because now we have these cameras that can zoom in and they're literally balls of energy that are twinkling, that are zipping around inside a little kind of crystalline structure. It's the most incredible thing ever. And, we've been told, because all of us have grown up in these schools where there's a globe in the school, and Enoch is an anti-globe book. It's I believe it without a shadow of a doubt, because as we get into things like chapter 70s and 80s, it very much tells us how the world operates, the gates, how the sun comes out, the moon comes out, how the seasons change, all of this stuff, right? And it's one of these things that we either have to believe man, who is, like NASA's taking out like $56 million from taxpayer money every single day. And they have people on Mars and they have all this. Guys, there's a firmament above us, right? There's a reason that NASA can't go back to the moon and all these other space agencies worldwide that are simply greasing the skids and taking money from its people, pretending to have rockets that go up in there. Many people believe in this whole satellite stuff, that there's 10,000 satellites bouncing around doing all this stuff, when in fact it's very easy to understand this, that they bounce signals off the dome. The dome is reflective, and they've sent up balloons and they've had them hit the dome, and it ripples. It's the weirdest thing. But yet they give us the fisheye lenses, and then they tell us that they're blasting off to space, and Jeff Bezos and all these Freemasons and all these Satanists are doing things, when in fact Enoch very clearly tells us how things operate. 3, observe and see how all the trees seem as though they have withered and shed all their leaves, except 14 trees, which do not lose their foliage, but retain the old foliage from 2 to 3 years till the new comes. And this is amazing stuff, right? I mean, if we didn't go to the escuela, the school, right? Sometimes you learn this, but sometimes not. All we have to do is read scriptures to learn a tremendous amount, that there's 14 trees which don't lose their foliage, right? Pine trees, various, all the pines and various things. Those of us grown up in the States, there's pine trees all over the place. 4, and again, observe the days of summer, how the sun is above the earth over against it, and you seek shade and shelter because of the heat of the sun. And the earth also burns with growing heat, and so you cannot tread on the earth or on a rock because of its heat. Observe how the trees cover themselves with green leaves and bear fruit. Therefore give heed and know with regard to all his works, and recognize him, how he lives forever has made them so. We start talking off about fasting, about the human body, and every single thing that our Creator makes is awesome. It's yawesome. When it comes down to how does this all function? How does it work? There's not a single one of us that could even come up with a design that is a single design, let alone a system that works like the system. We have the trees, they get their leaves, the leaves fall off, they become fertilizer on the ground, they spring up new leaves, and these trees that grow ginormous, and everything's alive, right? Everything is alive, and it's all done by the hand of a genius designer. And we need to give heed. and know that with regard to all of our Creator's works, and recognize how He who lives forever has made them so, right? There's no Big Bang. There's no evolution. None of that. It doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is that there's an intelligent designer, a single entity, Elohim Most High, who has designed it all, built this, and here we are. We have books like Enoch that are explaining this to us. Verse 2. And all his works go on from year to year forever, and all the tasks which they accomplish for him. And their tasks do not change, but according to how Elohim has ordained, so it is done. And see how the sea and the rivers in the same way accomplish and do not change their tasks from his commandments. Guys, even the sun and the moon and the stars keep a Torah of Elohim, right? All of this creation, everything in creation, if you are wise, if you are diligent, if you are astute, if you are educated in the laws of our Creator, we know that the commandments are good. We know that our Creator has come up with a way for us to live longer by giving us clean food. All these people eating pork, that's not food. Shellfish, it's not food. Zebras, it's not food. All of this stuff will make you sick. These things don't process the same amount of ways that the rest of the food that we are called food has processed. So we either have a way forward, a group of good instructions, or we have the way of Hasatan, which is nail the laws of the Creator to the tree. All the laws have been fulfilled. Jesus came and gave us a new set of laws, right? None of that happened, right? Those are all lies from deceivers, people who want to deceive you. 4, but you have not been steadfast nor done the commandments of Yahuwah, but you have turned away and spoken proud and harsh words with your impure mouths against his greatness. Oh, you hard-hearted, you shall find no peace. So right out of the gate, we were talking about the commandments and the sun and moon and stars and all these things that are wise enough to keep their rolling. But then what about us, right? Are we steadfast? Have we kept the commandments of Yahuwah? And if we don't, what does that make us? It makes us hard-hearted. It makes us not wise. It makes us ignorant. Because when you want to be wise, wisdom comes from inside the Torah. Wisdom is a gift given to us by our Elohim. It's one of his little spirit things that he has, wisdom. Solomon talks about it a lot, about the power of wisdom and wisdom coming and leaving because it can't find anybody that's smart enough to, take in the wisdom. So we don't want to be hard-hearted, right? We want to find peace. Do we want to live this life, this testing land, and then die and be eternity in a eternity where we've been rejected by our Creator, rejected by his Son, rejected by everything that is good? Do we want to hang out with all of those who, with everybody that's evil, right? Is that where we want to hang out? Is that the boys club that we want to hang out with? Or do we want to hang out with Club Yahuwah? I'd rather be with Club Yahuwah, honestly. 5, therefore you shall hate your days, and the years of your life shall perish, and the years of your destruction shall be multiplied in eternal loathing, and you shall find no compassion. There's this word, eternal, right? There's a lot of things that us as humans, we can't fathom, right? We have a hard time fathoming what 10 years is going to look like. We have a hard time, especially as our youth. Birthdays are so exciting for us, and the back in the pagan days, Christmas was always exciting. You get gifts and you sit under the phallus of Nimrod on your knees, worshiping something adorned in gold and silver, little crowns on its head, right? We didn't know how pagan and destructionish this was. But once we come out of our pagan ways, once we set ourselves apart, once we become the children of the Most High, we're trying to make sure that we're not into eternal loathing. We have to make sure that everything that we are doing is part of the kingdom. That's why our hearts need to be clean. Our minds need to be clean. What we see, our eyes are the windows to our soul. What are we feeding our soul? Are we feeding ourselves evil that we'll remember forever in our brains that our Creator has given to us, that stores data and stores images and is the greatest computer ever invented? Or are we storing, goodness, righteousness, things that will help us in the kingdom to come? 6, in those days you shall make your names an eternal loathing unto all the righteous. And by you all who curse shall curse, and all the sinners and wicked shall loathe by you. And you, the wicked, there shall be a curse, and all shall rejoice, and there shall be forgiveness of sins. Ah, hallelujah. Hallelujah. That's so good to hear, right? Forgiveness of sins. But it's not a sin to win card, right? It's not a get out of hell card. It's a get right with the Torah, walk the ways of the Torah, become what the Torah is about. And it's not this evil that we're into. Forgiveness of sins and every compassion and peace and patience. There shall be salvation unto them, a pleasant light. And for all you sinners, there shall be no salvation. But on you all, a curse shall abide. So we don't want, right, guys? We don't want these curses. We want righteousness. We want our Creator to accept us. We want Him to look at us and go, you are worthy. You who have been obedient. You who have walked my Torah. You who've helped others walk my Torah. You have shown the light. It's important, guys. 7, before the elect, there shall be light and joy and peace, and they shall inherit the earth. That's amazing, right? This is where, this is a rapture breaking stuff, right? There's all these, this is why this book was ripped out of Scriptures, right? Because it goes against all this doctrine of all the Catholics and Protestants and all this Judaism and Zoodeism and all this giant stuff, right? It's because we inherit the earth. We don't get pulled up out of this place, right? There might be a time when we're pulled up out of this. There might be a catching away, a twinkling or something when we move from one location to the next. But as far as the earth it's when all the sinners are gone, this is going to be a great place. It's going to be an amazing place. You don't have to walk down the road and get mugged. Things of this nature. It's not going to be the same sin-based world because we're all going to be in the Torah, under the Torah, knowing the Torah. It's the same thing that Hebrews 8 says, right? Hebrews 8 is very clear when it says that, in the end days, and Hebrews 8 is a prophetic chapter. It's something that is in the future that very clearly talks about those days when everybody knows the Torah. You turn to the left, you turn to the right, you're just all discussing Torah. It's not some mystery thing that when you tell people the laws of our Creator are good, they get this, their eyes cross and they're like, get angry and tell you this stuff, right? Because everybody sees the value of keeping Torah. And it's very, very important. 8, and then there shall be given wisdom to the elect, and they shall all live and never again sin, even through wickedness or through pride. But they who are wise shall be humble. Some qualifications, right? Some adjectives, some describing words of what it is that is a kingdom dweller. Those who walk with our Messiah, those who walk the kingdom road, right? This is a pitfall for a lot of us here in our house, right? We get crazy. We're just a bunch of dudes that are hanging out. Poor mom is the only female in this house. It's a testosterone-ridden house, and it gets woolly and wild. And every single day, we are checking ourselves, and I'm checking the kids. I'm checking myself. It's something that it's not an easy walk. Especially coming out of Babylon like we have come out of. We have a lot of issues. And so for those that think that, Boss Clan is some holy rollers or we're like, special or we don't have any kind of problems, I will tell you first and foremost, we have demons that plague us. We have demons that are always trying to take us into some sort of evil or some kind of madness. And, I think that's the gig, right? The devils and demons don't want the Christians. They don't want the Catholics. They don't want anyone. They already have them. Right? But that's why there's always war, especially when you read the book of Revelations, that, the devil, the roaring lion, he wants to make war with Torah keepers. He hates us. And there's rightfully so, because we hate him. We hate his wicked ways and we hate his rebellion. We hate who he became and what he became. And his goal is to maim us and to hurt us and to take our souls away from us. And we're always going to be under affliction. We're always going to have issues in our lives. And so that is a great thing because we know there's legions of messengers that are there to defend us against all this madness. 9, And they shall not transgress again, talking about the elect, the people at the end, nor shall they sin all the days of their kai, of their life, nor shall they die of anger or wrath, but they shall complete the number of the days of their kai, and their lives shall be increased in peace, and the years of their joy shall be multiplied in eternal gladness and peace all the days of their life. All right, so I think we're about to get into I think next reading that we do, it gets some serious meat and potatoes. As if this wasn't meat and potatoes enough, right? We're going to get into the fallen. We're going to get into the defilement of the women, of the population, of the people, and the entire plans that were made and hatched against humanity, against the Shemaim, against all of this. And so, guys, this is a beautiful reading. I can't thank you guys enough to everybody that has made it through these scriptures. I do believe this is scriptures. I do believe this is fully ordained. You will have a lot of people that are like, nah, this is not scriptures. But as you get into this, we understand a lot of the deceptions that are facing us in these end times. And it is the goal, I believe, of the writings of Enoch to give us inspiration and to give us understanding in these end days of this book. And so I will do my very best that I can to deep dive this. Some of this stuff, especially towards the end of the book, it gets pretty deep. There's some pretty deep stuff that I will have to do a lot of studying on before we actually read it, because there's future, there's past, there's end times, there's stuff that's already happened, and there's a lot of metaphors and a lot of little kind of parable-ish stuff in there. So with that, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. It's been great to hang out with you guys again. I really missed you guys a lot. We accomplished the goals that we were looking to do, and we're going to keep rolling. But till now, I'm going to take some rest with you guys as my eyes unclog from the Hindu that I'm trying to get through. So I got nothing but love for y'all. Much love to you. Shalom.